Swole Benji here with fatal newbie mistakes that all players make in Lost Ark. Let's begin. The first mistake most people tend to make is when they do their welcome challenges, they just completely use up the rewards on their first character, which leaves their main character, or possibly the character that they actually want to play, stranded. So what I mean by that is that your first time through the game, you may get these fusion materials, but on your second or third character, you're going to have to either buy or craft these. You won't just be handed to them for doing an activity in the game. And a lot of new players will just burn through these chests and these rewards, thinking that they're going to get this on every character when that is not the case. Once you get these rewards from your welcome challenge, it's forever, it's done, it's gone. So do not waste these materials on a character that you may not want to play as your main. The second mistake many new players make is not getting their login event rewards. Alright, so you have 25 out of 31 days to claim your rewards. So what this means is that as long as you do not miss 6 days worth of logging in, you will be able to receive all of these rewards, and these go a very long way in upgrading your character and progressing your characters. A lot of players will simply stack gear on their character and not pay attention to the stats that it gives. As a DPS class, you have absolutely no business running endurance or things like expertise. If I don't debuff things or care about debuff duration, and I am a DPS class, having expertise on my gear is actually highly detrimental to my damage and progression and speed of clearing. Whereas on a Demon Hunter, having specialization is much more optimal with a little bit of crit to maximize our damage output. And a lot of newbies completely ignore this aspect of the game, possibly late until tier 3. They are holding back their groups and they are slowing down their own progression by playing subpar stats. One huge mistake that is kind of at the fault of other content creators and guide websites is running the wrong engravings based on what the Korean players run. A lot of players will run Grudge, but they don't realize that they're only running the level 1 version of Grudge, right? So level 1 Grudge only gives you 4% additional damage, but you receive 20% more damage. This basically allows Guardian Raid bosses to one-shot your character, but a lot of people, they just read a guide very quickly online. They don't realize that this is an in-game engraving for those that know how to dodge boss mechanics, and it's only really useful and worth using at level 3. You are a huge detriment to your group if you use a level 1 Grudge versus just using nothing at all. So take that Grudge off, you're better off without it until it's level 3, and it supports a specialized character that is built properly. The next mistake involves guilds, alright? Unlike other games, guilds are just another way to collect and gain resources. So when you open the guild menu, if you're not in a guild, you're missing out on bloodstones, which is hugely detrimental to your character's progression. You should join just any random guild, whatever you can, and let me tell you the mistakes that people make when they actually join a guild. The first thing that you want to do when you join a guild, alright, is you go to the Manage tab, okay, and then you click this Bloodstone Distribution button. And what you want to make sure is that the guildmate percentage is at least 50% or higher, but another very important thing to check is the weekly contribution, which if you scroll back to Overview, you can see it right here where it says My Contribution Info 5/300. You generally want this number to be 100 and not 300, but this guild here is quite hardcore. And the way this contribution works is at the end of the week, which for the Western release is on Thursday, you will receive bloodstones if you meet this contribution goal. So to make this contribution goal, you have to click guild donation. Then when I click 6,000 silver, which is, it's not much money at all, okay? So that gave me 10 contribution, and I need to reach 300 by the end of the week. Because I have been without internet for a week, I'm not going to make this contribution goal. Now, if I donate gold, that's another like 20 or 30. If I go to research and aid research, that's going to bump it up even more, so now I'm at 45. And you do this every day until you reach your contribution goal, and then you stop. Once you have reach the goal for the week, do not donate silver or gold. It barely helps the guild. It completely wastes your resources. It is not something that you should do once you are above that contribution goal. And many newbies don't understand or realize this, and they waste their golden resources going way over the contribution goal. Alright, now, yeah, if everyone in the guild contributed every day once they're past the goal, everyone would receive more bloodstones and the guild would level faster. But because you're playing 6 different characters in 6 different guilds that never... Like, people don't really speak in public guilds in this game. It's just not a thing. It's not like other games, okay? You're just joining the guild for the resources, alright? Do not waste your resources on a guild once you reach that contribution goal. The next big mistake that players make is not utilizing their pet's statistics. So, by default, your pet will have HP and crit as its bonuses here. So, what that means is that if I summon the white bunny, by default, it's going to have Vitality, which is 5% max HP, and 10% crit. Okay? But because I am playing a Shadow Hunter, I should have a specialization so I can have more damage. And a lot of people also think that that 10% crit is a flat crit percentage increase when it is in fact not. It actually increases your crit stat by 10%. So right now I have 290 crit with the cat out, and this cat here gives me specialization and HP. So when I summon the bunny, my 290 crit becomes, hold on, 319, which is about 1% more crit. So my crit rate with the bunny is 26.41, okay, but with the cat out, which is not crit based, it drops down to 25.37, so it's barely 1%. But look how much specialization I lose. I have 952, which is based on how long I can be in demon form, how much damage I do in demon form. Alright, and with the bunny out, that drops to 866. It's almost a 7% damage decrease, as well as many other decreases. So for my character, it is much more beneficial for me to use the specialization cat with HP. You just go to the pet trainer on the map, it'll be like a little dog icon right there, pet management, you go to it, you click your pet, and then you can click the icon, and you can change this to whatever you want. So if your character is a tank and you want endurance, then you would want to run endurance over a 10% crit rate. Whatever your primary stat is for your character is what you want this to be, which is most likely specialization, most likely crit or swiftness. The other two stats, domination and expertise, are mostly PvP stats for guild versus guild things. And endurance is for gun lancers, sometimes. It really depends on the style of gun lancer that you play. But most of the time you won't really change the max HP, as it's far better than having slightly more physical damage reduction. It could be argued that on a berserker, a mayhem-based berserker, that this is better, but that is up to you to figure out. A lot of players don't realize that the Stronghold has weekly quests. Every Thursday these will reset. They won't reset if you haven't completed them, but for instance, this one right here that the chef has is going to tell me to eat 5 feasts, okay? So essentially by eating 5 feasts, I will receive 3 acceleration chips, which really come in handy if you like to do Stronghold activities. Now, one thing also that people may not realize is that when you are in your Stronghold, your area chat is shared with everyone else in a Stronghold, and a lot of times what people will do is they will cook a feast and then invite everyone over to go eat that. So what you want to do this quest in particular much faster, is just have 5 characters and then visit the same person's island, eat 5 feasts, and the quest is done for the week. When the new week rolls around, you get the new quest. You can see here, I need to craft 5 battle items and finish researching, which I've already done, and that's going to give me 3 acceleration chips. And then once I complete more dispatches, which I haven't had internet for a while, I will get more dispatch acceleration chips. These, again, reset every Thursday, so just come to the island and look for the blue quest exclamation point icons on your map, and make sure to pick those up every single week. Speaking of another newbie mistake, a lot of people think that just plopping down these types of buildings on their Stronghold will give them the bonuses. For instance, this medium fountain will give me a research cost of -1, so I'm just going to go ahead and plop this down, hit apply, and then there we go. Unfortunately, this does not give me a research cost -1. That is not how this game works. Okay, the way it works is when you open your menu and you go to Manor, you're going to have 2 slots for buildings for your structures, okay? And so if I wanted to get this bonus of research cost -1, I have to click one of these blue circles and then select the building to apply and equip that effect in order to get that. Putting it on your island by itself does not give you the benefit. You can only benefit from 2 different buildings. So right now I'm running this weird thing that looks like the Universal Studios globe, which gives me better crafting and dispatch adaptation, and a game table, which gives me dispatch adaptation. So yeah, that's how it works. Just simply plopping it down on your island does not give any benefit. You have to go into that menu to receive it. And this is just a direct copy of the Universal Studios globe. If you've ever been to Florida or California, it's a fun place. Check it out. Speaking of strongholds, never, ever, ever spend your life energy on harvesting things on your island. Absolutely never, ever do this. You are losing huge amounts of money. You are not getting nearly as many materials as you would by simply spending a few minutes sailing to an island. You are limiting yourself on platinum ticket earnings. Do not ever pick up anything from these island resources. They are untradeable. You will spend much, much more life energy to craft something on your island than actually going out into the game world and doing it yourself. This is basically a byproduct of the game before they just made gathering globalized, and it should be avoided at all costs. It is a huge waste of resources. It is not ever worth doing, so do not do it. One thing a lot of people make the mistake of is trying to buy experience potions or running mundane non-roster based quests on all of their alt characters to level them up past 50. What you should do is only focus on one single character to level past 50, and at level 52 you will unlock the training camp, and you will then use the training camp to accelerate every character to a level that matches your highest leveled character on your roster. So for instance, I have a level 52 character, and right now I can push all of these other characters to level 51. Once that character is level 60, I should be able to push all of these to level 59, in which case that level 59 to 60 grind begins, and then you will want to invest in those experience potions. But until then, do not buy potions on every character. It is a complete waste of resources and not something you should be doing. Real quick, I want to talk about scams and other things that people do to try to steal your money in this game. It's very important you pay attention to this one, okay? The first one is called map scamming, alright? This is fixed in the Korean version of the game, but on the Western release it is not. So what happens is that when you receive a rare or, unique legendary map, you generally form a group with people that have similar levels of maps so that you all benefit and you all get the resources. Because if you just open the map and get resources yourself, that's just a piddly amount compared to having 5 people all sharing their maps, all getting the same amount of resources. It is absolutely vital that you share maps so that you can progress faster, but beware people who form these groups who don't actually own maps. So make sure that it's with people that you trust and that you don't pay any amount of currency to join a map group and then have them take your money and kick you out of the group. It is not worth it. Another thing too is with the mailboxes, sometimes people will send you letters in the mail. Alright, I don't have an example to show you because I've deleted them, but essentially what they do is they do a cash-on-demand mail. So what they'll do is they'll name their mail subject something generic like, you just won an auction, and you'll click it, and then you'll click accept all, but actually it will cost you lots of gold to accept all. So a lot of people think that, oh, you just sold an auction, I want to collect my gold, and they'll just click it without reading and seeing what it actually is. But in fact, it's another player that sent you a mail that costs you money to open, and they send you a junk item that's not worth anything, and you're out several hundred or thousands of gold, and Amazon does not answer tickets. It's all automated, and they will not refund you that lost gold, so be careful when opening that mail. Now, this is a mistake that people make that may not be a big deal to some, but it is to others who have limited time. And that is claiming rewards that are time limited. So if you look here at this maintenance compensation given on April the 2nd, you'll notice that there is an Aura of Resonance Recovery Elixir in there. And it says 14 days in parentheses. So what this means, unlike that crystalline aura that has 3 days of parentheses, what this means, you see that little like stopwatch icon in the bottom left of that purple potion picture? What that means is that as soon as I claim this, I only have 14 days to use this until it just disappears from my inventory. And there are several items in the game like this. So what you want to do is just let it sit in your inventory until you are ready to use it, okay? And another thing too is Crystalline Aura. You only want to use these, like I have a 3-day here, I have a 3-day there, I have a 30-day in my stash. You only want to use this when you actually have 3 days to play the game. If you are busy and your job is demanding overtime and you're working 80-hour work weeks, or you have to study for finals, or maybe, you know, you met a new girl and you've been hanging out with her and stuff like that, and you want to spend more time with her instead of video games, it would be a bad idea to burn your Crystalline Aura. So don't do that. Real life comes first. Please prioritize things. This game will always be here for you, unless they shut down the servers, of course. But do not open limited time items because the clock will start ticking. Another minor thing that's not a big deal, but on events like this, you see this pink exclamation point icon. This is an in-game event. It's not going to be around forever. It'll loop around next year, and it starts in 15 minutes. Now, if I accept this quest on this character and I try to do this race event on another character, the game will not let me participate in the race on any other character. And there was a bug that if you were not level 50 and you accepted this quest, you were not able to do this at all until hitting level 50. So make sure that you have a progressed character to do these events. In the future, the same bug will arise again and again. So make sure that you're using your progressed character to do these events. Otherwise, you may have bricked your account until you level it up, or Amazon rolls back your character. Here's some tips so that you can profit more from the cube, alright? First tip is, if you wait until you have 3 cube tickets, you can essentially do 3 runs worth of cube in 1 run, because you can pay 3 tickets and get 3 times the rewards. Secondly, no matter how good at the game you think you are, or how geared your character is, never solo the cube. Always use matchmaking. You get the same rewards. The monsters do not get more difficult. And if you have bad luck rolls on your character, then other players will be able to somewhat carry your character if you are crippled by a bad luck roll, okay? So for instance, I tried to solo the cube at item level 1100 in an 802 dungeon, and I happened to be extra slowed on a survival round, and I was not able to run away from the explosions. I got blowed up, and I lost my ticket, getting almost no rewards at all. So don't make that mistake. Always use matchmaking, and always try to use at least 3 tickets at a time for maximum profit. Now, if there's any mistake that you should absolutely avoid, and I stress this in many videos, not just this one, it is the tower. Alright, if you want to progress your quote-unquote main character, which is the character that you enjoy playing the most, the character that you want to be the most geared, and the character that you want to get to tier 3 as fast as possible, what you should do is use a different character to complete the tower so that your main character can collect these nice crafting, honing, upgrade rewards instead. Alright? So what that looks like would be something like this. This is a completed tower, whereas on Fatespire here, I have it completed up to a certain level, but uncompleted levels give different rewards that do not progress your character nearly as much, like battle engravings, which I can just pay gold for, quick recharge, which my character may or may not need, and this is roster bound anyway. I would rather have a nice stack of life shards over an engraving pouch. And so to do that, you have to use a different character to complete the floors on the tower, like these creation fragments. Those do not help me progress my character, okay? The skill point potion, again, these are all roster bound anyway. Use a character to complete these floors, and use your main character, or a character that's already progressed past this tier, to complete the tower. So for instance, my Shadow Hunter has already progressed to tier 3, so these tier 2 rewards would not mean anything, so she is safe to complete these last floors, collect the rewards, so that all future characters on this account will have access to these upgrade materials instead if they choose to do the tower. Now this tip is for those that don't have a lot of free time or friends. Essentially, doing Abyssal Dungeon raids can be an absolute nightmare of a time sink, okay? So let's say I wanted to do the Gate of Paradise and I wanted to do Alaric Sanctuary. This requires 7 other players working together and not messing up one-shot boss fight mechanics. I could technically spend hours and hours and hours in here getting these kinds of rewards. So you should really only save Abyssal Dungeons for people that you trust, that are good at the game, that you can communicate with through Discord or even in-game chat, assuming they speak the same language as you. And you should absolutely not spend a lot of time in these, as even though they have been nerfed for the Western release, some of these still take a very, very long time to clear. Now, if you are very adamant about doing this, try to do it as soon as you can on Thursday. That is when these reset. And that is when a lot of characters will run their overpowered high-tier characters through these dungeons, either just for the rewards or just to have it completed, okay? And sometimes you get lucked out, you'll have a tier 3 character in like a tier 1 dungeon, and they will just completely eliminate the boss before they can do any of their one-shot mechanics. So Thursday and Friday are your best bets for Abyssal Dungeons. If you're doing them Wednesday night, you're going to get the bottom of the barrel, people, and you will not get those done. They will hold you back and kill you over and over again, so do not waste your time in them. Now, another newbie mistake that a lot of people make is that they will just beeline into one activity that is not very effective. For instance, this is the biggest one that I've seen so many people ruin their accounts on, is these high seas coin chests. Alright? If you were to convert all of these to sun coins and then convert the sun coins to pirate coins, yes, you would have a lot of pirate coins. However, it is much harder in this game to get sun coins than it is to get pirate coins. And the rewards that you need, or the collectibles you need to buy with sun coins, as well as shipmates and other things with sun coins, are much more valuable than anything you can buy with pirate coins. So do not be short-sighted and open all of these chests for sun coins and then just convert them, because you will set yourself literally months behind if you do this. So you should hold on to these chests and not spend them until you know exactly what you want to purchase with them. Now, one mistake that people make with Una dailies, alright, is that once one character on your roster completes the reward for the day, you gain reputation for that Una daily. However, if you have other characters, they can also complete the same Una daily, but you will not receive the reputation reward. Alright, so Mischievous Fairy here, I need to do 7 times, or 7 days worth, to level this to level 2 for rep rewards, right? However, if one character beats this today, and I have another character that also completes this Una daily, it will still be 10 out of 70. So don't be like me and have 6 characters all complete the same daily and then wonder why you don't have your Estray unlocked yet. That's not how it works. Alright, all characters can still collect the life shards or the XP potions, right? But you will not get the reputation for it. Also, you should save your Una daily tasks for things that you absolutely cannot stand to do, or things that you can only do once a week. Like, there is a ghost ship daily that's technically weekly because you can only do 1 ghost ship a week. But using these instant completion pass tickets, you can do it every single day and save yourself a month of time. Alright? Now, another tip too is the Platinum Fields tickets, okay? Now, this is pure speculation on my end, but I have found that using your life energy to harvest resources on islands, not your stronghold, not on continents, but on islands, will net you far, far more Platinum Field tickets. This is research that I have done for months in both the Korean version of the game and the Western release, talking to many, many people, how many tickets that they got. It still is technically pure, randomly number generated. It's just pure luck if you get these or not. But from people I have talked to, people have received far, far more tickets, myself included, when they harvest on islands versus harvesting on continents. So if you spend your life energy, make sure that you are spending it on an island and not on continents, so that you get more Platinum Field tickets. But also, in regards to Platinum Field tickets, do not bother even visiting the Platinum Fields until you have level 30 in at least one of these resources. I recommend foraging. I have an entire video on my channel about this. Do not do Platinum Fields until you have level 30 foraging if you want to maximize your monetary gains. Speaking of ways to mess up your progression, Rapport items and chests of this nature that allow you to select and obtain one reward are very valuable, and you should hold on to as many of these as possible until you are ready to essentially cheese the game's mechanics and skip a huge grind. So for instance, the most popular one is here in Punica. I don't know how to say, I don't remember how to say this continent name, but there, the chieftain, the matriarch of this island, I forget her name, but essentially she is one of the harder rep grinds to do, because if you don't do it exactly right, you need 400, like level 450 virtues to even talk to her. But you can skip that entire grind by just dumping a ton of gifts right on top of her, so that she goes from like level 1 to max level immediately, allowing you to collect all of the rewards. This is, I don't have a guide on this because I haven't personally done it myself, but it is absolutely something you should do for those kind of rewards. Otherwise, you're going to spend months, possibly a very long time, getting these up into the 400s. I have been playing for over 500 hours on this account, and I don't even have level 200 charisma, and that is with all charisma-based skins, okay? That is how far behind I am on this grind, and don't make that mistake, okay? Make sure that you do your research on your rapport so that you can turn them in the most efficient way to skip levels and skip virtue checks. One mistake a lot of people have made that I have seen is they spend their silver on doing the adventure tomes, alright? So what that means is that in certain areas of the game, you will have to spend tons and tons of silver rolling very low percent chance to craft cooking items, which will allow you to advance your adventurer's tome. This can cost several million silver to complete, alright? But you should hoard as much silver as possible and spend as little silver as you can until you have a character that is at least 1400 gear score, because honing costs an insane amount of silver in tier 3 to the point where it is going to be your main bottleneck, and it is very important that you should hoard as much silver as possible. And speaking of hoarding silver, in order to get more silver, you should avoid using power passes and using knowledge transfer when possible. For instance, just doing the Punica quests, which this character is not even completed with yet, just doing half of the quests have gotten me over 1.6 million silver. Now, I could pay 1,600 gold on another character and completely skip this quest line and have it automatically completed so I don't have to ever do it. But the quests are easy, they don't take hardly any time, like a few hours, and you're going to get several million silver from doing it on every character that you do it on. So do not use that knowledge transfer, do not use that power pass unless you are really like strapped for time. The silver that you gain from doing those quests will absolutely help you later on when you are in tier 3. Now, this can either be considered a newbie mistake or just cutting your losses, alright? So this is about buying the gold stacks from the gold exchange vendor. When you do your Una dailies and weeklies, you'll earn tokens, but you can then buy a sack of gold, a safe, or a large gold chest. Now, mathematically, buying the small gold sacks in the very long run will net you far more gold earned than buying the large gold chests. However, if you are very lucky and you end up with a giant gold bar, then that will offset buying the small gold sacks, okay? To share with you just how rare these giant gold bars are, it's a 0.6% chance to get. Alright, 0.6% chance to get. So you're going to have to spend, if you buy these for a straight year, you still might not come out ahead of just buying the gold sacks for a year, okay? And so if you're very peculiar about how much gold you earn, then by all means, buy the small ones. I'm the gambler type. I want to go for the big win, okay? So we're going to see, do I get the giant gold bar? Nah, didn't get it. And I'm probably never going to get it. But the point is that if you did get it, it feels really good, and that's why I still buy those. So you can consider this a newbie mistake or not, it's up to you. Now, this is a fatal newbie mistake depending on the server's economy at the time. It goes up and down. Generally on the weekends or on Sundays, it's at your best opportunity, but if you go to any general merchant, you can buy Awakening Chaos Shards for 250 silver, and as we know, silver is quite plentiful until you hit tier 3, and then all your silver goes bye-bye. Or if you're pushing your Adventurer's Tome. Now, instead of buying chaos shards from the vendor, you can go to open the market, go to other, and if your chaos shards are 1 gold, this is a much, much better deal. So I can spend 100 gold, okay, on 100 chaos shards, which is going to last me a while, right? Or I could spend 250,000 silver, or 25. The thing is that the silver is much more valuable spent elsewhere than on chaos shards. But sometimes these chaos shards can get up to 5 or 8 gold even, depending on how many the market has. Right now there's a 113,000 shards on the market, which means not a lot of people are buying them. But sometimes this price does spike way up. So if that's the case, you should buy your chaos shards for silver instead. It depends on the economy, depends on how you want to spend your resources. One huge thing that is a massive mistake is not using the store properly. So let me talk about that, okay? Right now, our currency exchange rate for crystals to gold is 370. I can see that I can actually get it for 365. So that's what the sale price would technically be. So if you do some math, let's say I have a tier 1 character and I need Guardian Stone fragments. Of course, buying this purple one here is a much better deal for 36 crystals, or is it, okay? So 36 crystals will get me 400 Guardian Stone fragments, okay? Or I can open the shop, the market rather, go to enhancement material, and then go to Guardian Stone fragments, and then if I were to buy 40 of these in stacks of 10, that's 400, that would cost me 40 gold. So is it better for me to spend 40 gold or the 36 crystals? Well, technically 36 crystals is about 1/3 of the amount of crystals you get for 365 gold. You could do the math mentally, or you can just use a website like EasyMari, and that will allow you to basically do the prices for you. So what that looks like is something like this. You can see here that I have it set at 365, and then if I check the Guardian Stone price, Guardian Stones on the market would need to be at 4 gold. Right, basically, if I buy this from the Mari shop, it's like spending 4 gold per stack of 10, is what this website's saying. Okay, so you can use a calculator like that if you want to figure that out without having to do all the mental math. But right now, the market is way cheaper, 4 times cheaper, in fact. So it would be a huge mistake to buy Guardian Stone fragments from the Mari shop when I can just buy it from the market for gold instead. The gold is better and more cheaply spent on the market than it is currently in the shop for that specific item. But a lot of new players, they just make the mistakes. They'll just open the Mari shop and then they'll just start buying all these out and blowing up their money. Now, like the life shard pouches, actually might be cheaper in this. Oops, wrong menu. Might be a little bit cheaper here. We can see that life shard pouches aren't even on this first page here. Not even on the second page, but let's see. There they are. Life shard pouch, 224 gold. So it is definitely a much better deal to buy this in the Mari shop, because in the Mari shop we would get 10 of these, well, small pouches for 38. Okay, which is basically, yeah. So again, it's a way better deal, better gold spent. Make sure you don't make that mistake. Alright, now this one is really nitpicky and not so much a mistake as it is just saves you a little bit of time. It has to do with mounts, okay? So the game doesn't tell you mount speed, but it does exist. A green colored mount will never be as fast as a blue or a purple or a golden one, right? So, but there is an exception, okay? I'm riding a Frost Wolf. You can see here that it has a jump ability where it just jumps you forward, and it is a nice little speed boost. It may not seem like much, but over time this will get you pretty far ahead. Now, the next fastest mount that I have is this Purple Turtle, which does, its base move speed is faster than the wolf I was just on, even if it may not look like it, but its ability is a slide. Now, this slide actually paused me there right at the end, and in a long distance race, you can time this yourself if you have these mounts, the wolf will gain much more ground over time by spamming its jump than the turtle will by spamming its slide, okay? So, for all intents and purposes, this Frostwolf mount is far better at traversing around town and areas and questing and so forth, right? Now, you may think, well, what about a mount like this that has like a speed boost ability? Okay, so this mount has a boost ability. You may be thinking, oh, well, that's got to be faster than the jump. Well, the boost is, it's barely noticeable at all. It will not win in a race against the wolf. So until you have like a Nimbus Cloud, or if you have the legendary version of some of the horses, The best mount you can possibly use, you get from Shoeshire early on, and it will be a staple for quite a while. Also, it's just one of the cooler mounts anyway. Who wants to ride a turtle when you can ride a really cool wolf? You know, you can be like the reincarnated as a slime character that rides the wolf. You could be like Princess Mononoke that rides a wolf. I mean, come on now. You gotta be like the anime characters. And that is it for now for Fatal Newbie Mistakes in Lost Ark. I'm Soul Benji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, reply to someone else's comment, and subscribe if you found this useful or helpful, or if you want to support the channel. There is a join button right below this video. It's $5 a month, gets you exclusive members-only videos. There is a link in the description that will show you, give you a preview of those members-only videos. I appreciate you watching. I make videos every day. Come on back tomorrow for another video. Take care.